This is Walk Off the Earth, 5 People, 1 Guitar. This was the video that sent them into the stratosphere. Okay. So, a fun little fact here. Walk Off the Earth initially started with Gianni and Marshall, the two of them. Just all the time playing and jamming, acoustic, having fun. Sarah Blackwood, was also a YouTuber, just kind of doing her own thing. And this was back in the days of where, like, early YouTube, where you could sit in your bathtub and play, and it was completely normal because the acoustics were great. So Sarah had a lot of songs that she would just play. She would either write or do covers, and she gained a pretty solid following. Well, Gianni and Marshall did the same thing, and at some point, they collaborated with Sarah. Okay, now, as the years have gone on, they added Beard Guy, who has since passed away, unfortunately, and then Joel, who plays the drums. And there's even there's a bunch more people that are part of Walk Off the Earth, but this is just a general scheme, okay? With this video, I'll show you a piece of this if you haven't seen it, just so you kind of have some context. They put this video together. They launched it on YouTube, and I think overnight it was over 1 million views or something, like overnight. This is from, like, nobody knew who they were except for like a small cluster of people. You know what I mean?
Said you felt so happy you could die. Told myself that you were right for me, but felt so lonely.
Yeah, you probably recognize the song. It's Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know. They're covering that song.
In your company, but that was love and it's an ache I still remember.
Now, I am going to let the whole thing play because it's part of what I'm going to talk to you about, okay?
You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness, like resignation to the end, always the end. So when we found that we could not make sense, well, you said that we would still be friends. But I'll admit that I was glad that it was over. But you didn't have to cut me off, make out like you never remember we were nothing. And I don't even need your love to treat me like a stranger that feels so rough. No, you didn't have to stop so long. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number.
Here comes Sarah.
Now and then I think of all the times you screwed me over, but had me believing it was always something that I'd done. And I don't wanna live that way, reading into every
So that video went out overnight and went viral. Huge. This is what sent them into the stratosphere and made them extremely popular, like immediately. So next thing you know, well, let me back up just a touch, okay? Let me pull something up real quick. So this is from 13 years ago. This is Johnny. When I say they were small, they were small. I was following them back 13 years ago, and this is the kind of stuff that Gianni would do like on his own. You'll recognize this song. It's another cover. All right, now I show you that. This was 13 years ago. This is before, I mean, they had a following. They were on YouTube, but they were doing a lot of the small stuff. They were so small, in fact, that when Gianni and Marshall started collaborating with Sarah in the very beginning, I heard this song when Gianni first launched it on YouTube. Now, at that time, so let me think, 13 years, like 2000. Yeah, it was about 2010, 2011, give or take. At that time, like I had my full-time job, still married. I was building a social network, right? I had a development team overseas. I had this was on top of my full-time job, all that stuff. And I started working on the marketing. Something about this song felt like it would be perfect for one of the promotionals, one of the commercials that I was building. Now, I didn't know that it was a cover of a real song that was already on the charts. I had no idea. So I got a hold of Gianni and I said, hey, can I use this song? And he was like, absolutely. It's one of the few songs that our publishers don't have rights to. So go ahead. And then I said, well, do you want me to credit you? Do you want me to credit Walk Off the Earth? Because it's just you doing it. He said, no, credit Walk Off the Earth. It'll be great. Appreciate it. Boom. And he gave me that. It was awesome. Now, I learned later that it was actually a real song, and he didn't technically have permission to give me the rights to it, even though it was a cover. But it wasn't like it created a problem or anything. It was just, I point all that out because that's how small they were. I could email him, and he emailed back. You know, I emailed Sarah and said, hey, I love what you're doing. I love your music. Can I send you a ukulele? You and Gianni and Marshall sign it and send it back. And she was like, absolutely. And I just never sent it. That's how small they were. Okay. Now, I mention all this and I show you this video that we watched where they took off, right? This one. This is the one that sent them everywhere. When they got all of this exposure real quick, they started showing up on shows like Ellen. This is the video that I was looking for. They did this right here on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And after that, they referred to it as the Ellen debacle. It was terrible. It was awful. Awful. Now, the reason it was awful is not because they couldn't do what they were doing in this video. It's that Gianni specifically couldn't hear himself in his in-ear monitors. So he was way off key. And there were a couple other issues that happened, but think about this. These cats went from making YouTube videos and having fun, and all of a sudden they start to get some more followers. It gets a little bit bigger. And then all of a sudden, boom, fast forward, they are on the Ellen Show. Think about the nerves, the apprehension, the sheer terror of having done this for so many years. They finally are starting to make it. They're on the stage at Ellen. They start playing, and it's bad. Oh, and not only that, this song is over 4 minutes long. When you know that something's wrong and you know that America is watching and you have no choice but to push through it, ooh, like you could feel it. And I honestly wish it was available and I could show you, because you can feel how awful that moment is, okay? But this is kind of the point of why I wanted to talk about these guys. These guys are traveling the world, right? They still carried on. Like, they had a bad set, didn't matter. That one song, hey, you know what? This is what happened. Drive on. And they kept going. So I think somebody said they're on tour with Lindsey Sterling right now. Is it Sterling or Starling? The violinist. But they carried on. And now they have millions, like hundreds of millions of views. They do some wicked awesome stuff. Now, this is kind of the same thing.
My shit for the last time. Yeah. Maybe I know that I'm drunk. Maybe I know you're the one. Maybe
Sterling.
I'm thinking it's better if you drive.
Now, here's one that is, again, similar, but I'll show you a piece of it. This is from still 7 years ago. So this is after the whole Ellen thing, but they just kept going. They drove through like, you know what? Doesn't matter. You're always going to have a bad day. You're going to have a bad set. You have to expect this is part of the process. You can't win them all. So drive on.
La, 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 try to hide, but now you know it.
Check this out.
That I'm at an old time.
I've been trying to fix my pride, but that shit's broken. That shit's broken. Lie, 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 lie. I try to hide, now you know it. That I'm at an old time low, 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 low.
Wait for it.
Time.
That I'm
Yes, to answer your question, they are still active. I don't know if they're touring right now. Somebody said they might be now, but they are still making videos. They have added members. And as somebody said, this is Beard Guy. He became like a character for being very stoic. The beard became a thing, and he's just a monster on stage. That's Mike Taylor, and he actually unfortunately passed away while they were on tour, and it was incredibly unexpected. It was awful, but he was quite a part. And the creativity of these cats, they all play so many instruments. They toss instruments back and forth. They sing. It's something special, right? But I tell you all this because they are such an incredible success story. And I'm not saying that because they started off as just a couple YouTubers making some videos and now they're touring the world. What I'm specifically talking about is that moment where they were standing there at the foot of their dreams coming true. And that first moment kind of bombed. That's devastating. That would crush almost any of us. And I'm sure it was pretty debilitating for them, I have to assume. But they still just brushed themselves off and they drove forward. That is a success story. They wouldn't be where they are if they had taken that one moment and been like, you know what, we tried. Now everybody has seen us and we bombed. Right? That's it. They got back up. What a story. And now, and this is the piece I didn't tell you. So let me go back one. So through the journey of them doing all this, Gianni and Sarah became a bit of an item. And they have since had 2 children. Here's one. Actually, are they 3 kids? I can't even keep track anymore.
You every night, and that's a feeling I wanna get used to. But
3 kiddos. Yep.
As terrified as the man who stands to lose you. Oh, I hope I don't lose you.
Beautiful things that I've got.
Please stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got. Please stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got. Now
Aren't they fantastic? Doesn't that whole thing just like warm your heart? Doesn't it? I love this stuff. I love it so much. And it's things like this that I feel like they're worthy of sharing, you know, because the story is just so incredible. They did all these collabs along the way. And I'll just, here's a little piece of this one because they will use all these different little toys and stuff to make these sounds. This is the Adele song Hello, and they're collabing with Korean FX, who's the beatboxer here on the left.
1, 2, 3, 4.
hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free.
Here it comes.
Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything.
So you see, like, they've got these whirly things that are in a certain note, and then they've got the tubes that are in a certain note. They've got the bells. Like, it's all a bunch of toys that they're making those sounds with. It's pretty nuts. Incredibly talented. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. They have a ton of stuff to watch. They're incredible story, and you can go really far back and kind of watch the story play out. It's really, really incredible. But the biggest thing of me sharing that, like I said, was just the fact that it is an incredible success story. And with some of the conversations that we've had over the last week, 2 weeks, few months, sometimes it is as simple as, it doesn't matter how dire you think it is. Sometimes you just have to stand up and dust off and just keep going. And that's it, period. And they are an incredible example of that. They didn't just lay down and take it. They stood up and they decided where they wanted to go and how they were going to get there. Walk off the earth. Love it. I hope you enjoyed that.